right, guys, here we go. The last lesson of Module 2, Lesson 7. Jason Skipper here with you, and I hope you are excited to finish up. We are so close to finishing what is, in reality, the most difficult module of the entire course, and that is actually building our website. The rest of things are just going to be learning tips and tricks and moving through and setting up different accounts and doing things like that. But this module has been build, build, build. I hope you've enjoyed it. There's a few more things that we want to finish up, tie in some loose ends, some tips and tricks that I wanted to give you, a few fixes, etc. And so I wanted to finish up our WordPress part in this. So let's get into it. And we are now going to talk about the sidebar. Now, if you've noticed, many of our pages, when we go in, for example, we have all of these different main pages. But for example, when I go to About, you can come in and you can see that these small groups, when I click on it, it's actually going to bring up this with some notes. But when I go into certain type of posts, for example, in blog, it brings up a sidebar. It brings up something to the side here that shows, just kind of like the footer that shows on all pages, the sidebar will show on all posts and certain types of pages, okay? And this sidebar is something that we want to set up to guide people or just to color things up to make it look a little bit better, etc. Now, let me get back to this. In our setup, I am now back on demochurch.site. This is what our sidebar looks like right now. Now, that can work. Definitely, we can see latest posts, most recent posts. And this is going by date. Since we imported these, this was in November 15th, while we made Dan Smith much further on. And so that is why those are showing. We also have recent comments, which we don't have any, but there was a test comment there. Archives. We also have categories, meta, the site admin, log in, log out, etc. Now, we can leave that like that. We can change those. And I want to show you how to do that here. Now, what you're going to do, first of all, is we're going to go up to Demo Church, up to your sign-in part up here, and we're going to go to Widgets. Now, you can go straight there, or you can come in. If you're in the dashboard, you can get to Widgets. It's under Appearance. And you just go to Widgets. And here you can see everything that's showing that we saw there. And you can drag and drop different things in there. So if I take out search, it's not going to show in that sidebar anymore. And I'm actually going to take everything out for now. I'm just dragging it out. Okay? And when we come in here, what I'm going to do, just so we can have a consistent experience all the way across the site, we're going to add one of the stacks in there, MP stacks. And we're going to select sidebar 1. Save. Great. Now, let's go back. We go to blog. We're going to enter one of our posts. We'll go into blog 8. There it is. Now you notice there's nothing over here but an empty brick. So if you understand the difference between stacks, this stack is actually in the sidebar. While this stack that we've been building on was the entire page, a stack can be contained within a sidebar also. And so let's add a brick there. I've put together this, and I'll show you, a mailing list. Once again, a MailChimp mailing list setup thing. And Instagram setup right here. And basically, we just have this Instagram set up all the way down through here and a video. Now, the Instagram, we're not going to set up in this video. And the reason is that we want to make sure that we have Instagram set up. And so we will do this in the next module when we talk about social media, okay? But we are going to set up the subscribe to the mailing list form there and a video. And so we'll just go through here and do that quickly. So let's come back over here and we're going to add a brick. We can call this MailChimp. First content type, text for the title. Second, we'll just put MailChimp. We'll center those and we're going to come over here and in the brick size settings on all of these sidebar ones, we're going to put a 0 space above. And I'll show you why in a moment. Space below, we can put 50, but we want 0 space above. Let's come back over here. Let's make the text size 24, Google font, Lato, and let's make this ultra bold. Okay, now I'm going to show you something. We're going to write subscribe to our mailing list. We're just going to write that in. And before we put in the next part, let's just hit publish. Okay, so you can see here we have subscribe to the mailing list, but on mine, I actually have this little line down below. You see the line right here? I like to do that, especially on the sidebar. It kind of separates things and just really denotes that that's a title. And so let's put that little line in there. So we're going to come in here and we're going to tell this, we're going to give this little rule, and you'll need to copy this from the page there. We're going to write style equals, quote, border bottom, colon, 2 pixels, that's 2 pixels wide, solid, and the color is going to be CCC. It's a lighter gray. We'll put a semicolon at the end, quote, and we'll close that. And now, when I update that, look, we have that border there. And so we just did, that is inline CSS. Basically, we just put some CSS in there. Now we have one little issue here. You'll also see that you really can't see the form here. So let's go in and continue working down through here. And we're going to work through this. Put in your MailChimp API key and your list ID as we did on the home page. And the one thing you're going to want to do down here is click on overall size and shape, corner radius. We're going to do 10. Border radius, corner radius. And in the email field, let's put the background color EA. Let me make sure. EA. There we go. And there we go. As you can see, now we have a nice little subscribe form. Now, I also want you to see this. The reason we put 0 above is because we want it to get up to the top just along this. We do have 50 space below, but 0 above, and that allows us to be flush with the top here. Let's add one more in, add brick after. And we're going to add this video. Now you could put any video in here. I just put something in, our beloved Nashville. Text. And we'll come down and put video in here, centered. Same thing as the other side, brick size setting. We'll put 0 above, 50 below. And same text size, 24, Lato, ultra bold. Great. And on here, we're going to put that same type of border on the bottom. Okay, and in video, you can just put any video you would like in here. Anything that's on YouTube, Vimeo, really anything. And that will just, you get the embed code, you put that in. And let me show you where you get that embed code. So if I go to YouTube, and I'm just going to search YouTube Nashville. Of course, you're going to get your own videos. Okay. You'll see right here that we can go in. If you see the share button right there, if I click share, right there is the code that we need. That's all we need. Okay, you take that, you copy that, you put it in here, you hit publish, and there we go. We have our sidebar, and you can just keep adding brick after brick. You can change them. Later on, we'll put Instagram, maybe Facebook in there, just different things. And this is basically anything you want to put in there. And so that is how you do the sidebar. Now, I did want to give you a few tips as we go through here, just different things that you can find throughout this and things that you find in WordPress. I would say number one, well, first of all, I wanted to fix something that we did in the first video. In the first video, we had put something in here and the lines were further spaced apart, okay? And if I double click on that, I think the paragraph spacing was 15. And I refresh. And you see they were looking like that. I went back and I think I put this in the notes also. We want the paragraph spacing to be 0. I had also put in here privacy policy. You saw that. It was a link to privacy policy. We don't want to do that yet. We're going to do that later. We'll put together that page later on. And so don't worry about that. I just erased that from here. Refresh the page. Great. Perfect. Up here, you'll notice that it's a little bit different than my site and that these are all uppercase. If you like it like that, then you can come over to customize. And we're going to go over to the menus, primary, home, and we can change the navigation label. So I can go through and I can put home, and you'll see how it does that. And so that's all that is. I'll just leave it like it is for now. But you can go in and change that. You can change most of your default colors over here in this area, the configuration area. Throughout the header area, your body area, most of your default colors can be worked on and changed right over here. The header area, it does have some of the header things also. So you can change most of your defaults right in through there. Throughout this thing, I've built this, but you can pretty well go through and figure out a lot of different ways of changing these things up and making them look however you want them to look. There's just so many tools available in this WebBuild program and also in this MP Stacks that we are building upon that we can do a lot of things. Now, one tip here in this area, you can see that I have this picture and it's set up as a background image, but I had to work with it, and we'll go through this in images later on when we talk about how to work with images. But if you don't have a picture where you have a lot of white space on this side, you'll notice with this, let me take this out of full screen mode. When I resize, things kind of change and then I lose her a little bit. So you can just, instead of putting it in the background like that, you can just do one left and right, and you can put on this side just an image of you. You can do pretty well anything you'd like. You experiment. Now that we've learned a lot of how to do these things, you can go through and experiment with any of these types of types that we have through here: images, videos, event grids, forms, etc. And you can really just put them in there and use them however you want to use them. Let me see other things that we can go through here. Now, there are a few fixes that I wanted to talk to you about. And one of them is this. Take a look at this. As you can see that that is growing. That doesn't grow by default. Okay? That's just something I like to put these little movements on that they recognize whenever your mouse is going over. It just gives more movement to the site. Not too much, but it's just little subtleties. And so I wanted to show you how to do that. If you come up into your dashboard, and let's go back down to Duoleaf and add CSS JS. The CSS are the rules that show them how to look. The JS is JavaScript, okay? And I added a new one called Extra JS. And you just Extra JS, put that one in the footer. Usually you want JavaScript in the footer, if at all possible. And that's what you're going to do. And in the content, what I want you to do is type this, jQuery. You're going to close it there. And I will put all of this right here into the notes. But what this is doing is it is looking through the entire document when you load it. And if it finds anything that has this class, the social links, it adds a class called HVR Grow. And so this just goes through and adds a class to all of the social links and makes it grow when you mouse over it, hover grow. And so you save that. When you go back in and visit the site, you'll see there it is. Now, if I right click this and I inspect this element, you'll notice that right here is the social link class. I chose that one and I added HVR Grow, and so now those grow by default. One thing I wanted to show you also was how to make this go clear over to the left. You'll notice in the website, in the demo site that I had set up, that does float left right over here, and it just, to me, it looks better. It looks better like that. And so what we're going to do is come over here and we're going to add some rules into our CSS that tell this that we want it to come over to the left, because by default, this is always going to be centered. All right. Now, the first thing that we need to do is this. I want you to right click on this and inspect once again. And we need to figure out what the brick number here is. So the brick number is 34. Now that's going to be different on yours. It'll be different depending on how you set it up. So you just need to know what the brick number is. So we are on MP brick 34. Great. So now we're going to go up to Demo Church. We're going to go to the dashboard. And let's go to Duoleaf, the CSS, JSS. Let's go into the CSS and edit. And I want you to copy and paste what we have over in the text. And what this is saying right here is this. We're telling it we want it to float left. If anything is over 600 pixels wide, so basically on a mobile device, this won't go left, but it'll stay centered. But anything else above 600 pixels wide, the social links will float left. We're also telling it that the first one, we want it to go flush to the left, so no margin to that left, okay? Now here's the key. MP brick 31, we need to change to, I think it was 34. I've forgotten already. 34, let's hit save. Let's go back. Scroll down, and there we go. So you can see that's left. And so you can go in and really target a lot of things. And the way you're going to target things, if you want to do something special, basically, the way you're going to target is you're going to go in and you're going to right-click, inspect, and you can do this with most browsers. I know you can with Chrome and Firefox, but you're going to go in and inspect, and you're going to figure out which area, which thing you want to grow. So if I want that load more button to grow, just like we did with all of these here, I can go in and I can look, and I can see right here that this has a class of button. Let's say I want all of my buttons to grow. Okay, so I'm just going to go and I'm going to say button. If you just want that one to grow, you need to choose the exact brick that you are in. So for example, that's brick 61. But we want all buttons to grow. Okay, so we're going to come up here, Demo Church, Dashboard. And we'll go back into the JavaScript there. We're going to type this, jQuery button, because the dot beforehand means that's a class. We're going to close that, add class, HVR grow. Make sure you type it in right. And there we go. We hit save. Great. We go back to the site. And now all of our buttons should grow whenever we click on them. It's doing it quickly. It's not doing it very nicely, but it works. Maybe I need to reload. And so that's how that works there, okay? Now, you may go through and not like that, but that's the idea with all of these, that you can go through and work with these. There's one more thing that I did want to fix, and that's the mobile menu. So let's get this over like this. And I don't really like this mobile menu. There's a few problems with it. First of all, the colors don't look very good. They just, this needs to be larger in this. And this isn't going to happen for most people, but for the admin, you notice that this bar here covers up my menu. And so I've put a little rule that we can add to our CSS that's going to fix that. And so copy that over. Let's go back to the dashboard and let's fix this. Dashboard. We're going to go to the CSS. Just go down. Okay. So what this is saying, first of all, this one here is saying admin bar. So if the admin bar is there and it's going through and basically saying, depending on what width it is, lower your menu to a certain point. Also grab the other CSS there. We're going to make the text a little bit bigger, give it a little bit more padding. And this is the MP menu holder. I've put all this. We're going to make the font 16. We will make it larger, etc. And so let's do this. Save. Let's go into the mobile menu. Click on that. There we go. Doesn't that look better? And another thing you can do with this, if you would like, if we go into the mobile menu settings, is we can change the color, the menu text color, to that green that I had on there. I'm trying to remember what color green that was exactly. So let me find that. Just copy that. 38C483. Menu text color. There we go. So you will see right here, we click on this, and there we go. So there we changed our menu text color, made it larger. Now it looks a lot better even whenever we are in our menu whenever we have our admin menu up here. Another thing that's important to know for you is this. Whenever we're in here, so as we go into our site, if you aren't logged in, basically, I prefer not to put in a login button here because most people don't need to log in and there's really no reason to show that button there for them. And so what we're going to do, you just need to remember this. You come up to the site, you put a /WP admin. You just put that in there like that, hit return, and that takes you to the admin screen where you can log in. There we're logged in and we can work with it. And we are ready to go. So guys, that is the end of Module 2. We have gotten so much done and this is looking awesome. I'm proud of you guys. We'll go ahead and get into Module 3 next. So whenever you're ready to move on, go ahead and do that. Go enjoy yourself, take a little bit of break, enjoy that time off and get back to it whenever you can. So thanks so much guys and we'll see you then. Bye.